In the headlines, after months of speculation, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo declares interest to join presidential race.
I am today, with utmost humility, formally declaring my intention to run for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
All is set for local government elections in Katsina State on Monday as State Independent Electoral Commission distributes sensitive election materials. NAFDAC alerts on recall of Continental Mills buttermilk pancake waffle mix due to potential foreign material contamination. And away from Nigeria, President Emmanuel Macron and far-right leader Marine Le Pen progressed to second round of presidential elections in France. Hello and welcome to Trust News Updates. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. We begin with politics. After months of speculation and consultations across the country, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has joined the presidential race ahead of the primaries of the All Progressives Congress, which comes up in May. Speaking during a broadcast Monday morning, Osinbajo declared his interest to contest for the presidency. The vice president kickstarted his declaration with a meeting with APC governors on Sunday at his official residence at the Villa. No fewer than 12 presidential APC governors out of the 23 were present at the meeting. Some of the governors present include Nasir El-Rufai Kaduna, Dakwa Abiodun Ogun, Abdullahi Sile Nasarawa, Babagana Zulum Borno, and Babajide Sanwo-Olu Lagos.
For the past 7 years, I have served as Vice President under a true Nigerian patriot, a servant of the nation in war and peace, and a man of integrity, President Muhammadu Buhari. We have, together, worked through some of the most difficult times in the history of our nation. But we have remained focused on securing the country, on providing infrastructure, and growing our economy. As stipulated by the Nigerian Constitution, our tenure will end next year. In this period of 7 years, I have served the government in several capacities. I believe that the very reason why the Almighty God gave me these experiences, these insights, and these opportunities is that they must be put to the use of our country and its great peoples. Which is why I am today, with utmost humility, formally declaring my intention to run for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the platform of our great party, the All Progressives Congress. If by the grace of God and the will of the people I am given the opportunity, then I believe that first we must complete what we have started, radically transforming our security and intelligence architecture, completing the reform of our justice system, focusing on adequate remuneration and welfare of judicial personnel, and ensuring justice for all and the observance of the rule of law.
All is now set for local government elections in Katsina State on Monday. This is as the State Independent Electoral Commission distributed sensitive electoral materials to the 34 local government areas of the state ahead of the polls. Abdullahi Ahmadi has the report.
Distribution of the election materials commences at the Katsina State branch of the Central Bank of Nigeria. SIEC Chairman Katsina Ibrahim Bako says the materials will arrive the 34 local government areas on Sunday night. He is also given assurances that the sensitive materials distributed, which include ballot papers, inks, and result sheets, will be distributed to wards and polling units Monday morning.
Also are here within this August occasion, so that we want this material to arrive at each local government in good time, so that we start this election as scheduled.
The chairman of the State Electoral Umpire also said non-sensitive materials have already been dispatched ahead of Monday's election. 12 political parties are participating in the local government election.
You know, we have about 4,902 polling units. And we have a minimum of 2 people at each polling unit. So here we are talking about roughly 10,000 people that have conducted this election.
Observers say the Monday's local government election in Katsina will serve as a litmus test to what the process will look like in 2023 general elections in the state. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Abdullahi Yamadi will give a situation report on local council elections in our subsequent bulletin. Moving on, the recent court judgment dismissing suit seeking approval or removal of Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade for defecting to the APC has generated debate among legal practitioners on defection. Some senior lawyers speak on conflicting high court judgments, one sacking a state governor and another dismissing the suit in similar case. They speak to Trust TV's Shafi'u Suleiman against the backdrop of a judicial logjam on the sidelines of a Court of Appeal Enugu Division's judgment on the matter. The report.
Though defection or cross-carpeting amongst political office holders is not novel, have been featured minimally in the First Republic, prominently in the Second Republic, and now frequently. Litigations around the political anomaly are also not novel, from Supreme Court pronouncement in Atiku vs. Obasanjo, Amechi vs. INEC, and now involving governors of Ebonyi, Cross River, and Zamfara states. On March 9, 2022, Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court Abuja applied the judicial sledgehammer as he sacks Governor David Umahi, his deputy, and 20 other lawmakers for abandoning their party, the PDP, to APC.
It is true that a judge can iron out decreases from a texture, but he should not change the entire material from which the texture was made. And that for them to do that, as the Court of Appeal said last week, for a judge to do that and bring it to the Constitution, what is not there amounts to nothing but judicial impotence and judicial rascality.
I will go with Justice Eko. And my reason is not far-fetched. One, you cannot become even a candidate without being sponsored by a political party. You must be sponsored by a political party. Number two, like I said earlier, the Supreme Court has stated in Amechi against INEC that votes belongs to a political party. And the Supreme Court has been very consistent with that.
Just about the moment another presiding Federal High Court judge, Justice Taiwo, was about to deliver judgment in a similar suit involving Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade, a Court of Appeal Enugu Division dismissed a suit against the embattled David Umahi, citing constitutional lacuna. The question is, can there be remedy to this political rascality?
Yes. What is the solution? Section 9 of the Constitution. Let the National Assembly, the legislature, do their job by amending the Constitution to include that defection will now be punishable by you being removed from office.
I don't think the national, because it's a very volatile political issue. So the interests of the political parties are involved. The interests of the governors are involved. So, and you know, the National Assembly would like to play smart and leave it for the court to decide.
Justice Taiwo was compelled to toe the line of a Superior Court judgment and deciding on Ayade vs. PDP to avoid getting involved in what he cited as judicial rascality.
You cannot punish a governor for defecting, and that the Constitution has not provided that defection is one of the reasons a governor can lose his seat, or president, or vice president, or deputy governor. The situations under which they can lose their seat have been provided for exhaustively by the Constitution in sections 180, 188, and 189 of the Constitution.
The Constitution is the ground norm, but even the Constitution left its own, the interpretation of that ground norm to the judiciary. So it is the court that can interpret and say this is what it is.
As the legal battle to put an end to arbitrary defections by elected political office holders get to the apex Supreme Court for remedy, legal experts say the days for cross-carpeting without recourse to people's mandate may have been numbered. Shafi'u Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Foreign missions in Nigeria and other international bodies have tightened up security alerts for travels in the 7 states making up the Northwest geopolitical zone following last month's attack on a passenger train arriving Kaduna from Abuja, the attack on commuters and soldiers along Abuja-Kaduna Road, and the Kaduna International Airport bombing. Reports say, though there had been travel advisories to states like Katsina, Zamfara and Kaduna, the alert level was upped across most embassies and other organizations over heightened fear of insecurity. Foreign missions such as those of the United Kingdom, Canada, United States and a host of other countries have directed their staff to avoid travel to the area. A similar ban is also placed by United Nations, USAID, UNICEF, among others. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba has assured of his readiness to ensure that officers and men of the force are ever ready to deliver on the task of ensuring public safety across the country. The IGP gave the assurance this Sunday while assessing the deployment of personnel along Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Expressway and Abuja-Jere-Kaduna Road. This, he said, is in furtherance of his desire to ensure the sustainability of security arrangements along the axis. According to the IGP, such supervisory moves will soon be extended to other parts of the country to ensure nationwide security.
Hello, sir.
Coalition of non-governmental organizations in Zamfara State is calling on the federal and Zamfara State government to establish official internally displaced persons camps in the state to protect the displaced population, especially women and children. Chairman of the coalition, Ambassador Ibrahim Tudu, made the call in an exclusive interview with Trust TV News on the plight of the internally displaced persons in Zamfara. The report.
Non-governmental organizations, Ambassador Ibrahim Tudu said the federal and Zamfara state government's intervention is needed to address the need of the IDPs who have been traumatized by bandits who sacked them from their ancestral homes. He said such intervention has become imperative to ensure the setting up of camps that will guarantee their safety.
Well, the issue of IDPs, that is internally displaced persons, in Zamfara State is actually a source of concern to everybody, including the civil society organizations in Zamfara State, because as the name implies, they are internally displaced. They have left their domains, their houses burnt, they lost their lands, their farmlands, houses, and that's why they are in the town and cities looking for what to eat because of the insecurity, because of the attack by the bandits. So they are actually internally displaced. There are plenty of them, men, women, and children. And in any conflict internationally, what is desired is any government that has failed to protect the people where violence is happening. They are to be sheltered. They are to be grouped in a place where they are to be shelters, where it is being called camp. And in that shelter, they are given protection from what they are running from.
Stakeholders say it is difficult to ascertain the exact number of the IDPs in Zamfara State due to lack of official IDPs. This challenge, they say, puts a burden on the Zamfara state government to collaborate with non-governmental organizations to ensure adequate mapping of the internally displaced persons to ensure that the IDPs are better served.
You're watching Trust News Update. Coming up after the break, a focus on youth in the arts and crafts industry. Do stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back and thanks for staying. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. You heard that Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has declared his interest to join presidential race. We also told you that all is set for local government elections in Katsina State on Monday as State Independent Electoral Commission distributes sensitive election materials. On health, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has alerted the general public that Continental Mills is recalling a single lot of great value buttermilk pancake and waffle mix due to a potential foreign material contamination. This according to the alert with number 021-2022 signed by NAFDAC Director General Professor Muji Adeyeye. Adeyeye stated that the affected product was distributed nationwide in the United States of America, where consumers purchased the product from retail Walmart stores. She also disclosed that fragments from a cable used to clear the processing line were discovered in a limited amount of the product. According to her, no contaminated product has been reported by consumers to date and no injuries have been reported to date. The Director General, on behalf of NAFDAC, implores importers, distributors, retailers, healthcare providers and consumers to exercise caution in the importation, distribution, sale and use of the recalled products. She also called on members of the public in possession of the recalled products to discontinue sale of use and hand over stock to the nearest NAFDAC office. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has urged government at all levels to be proactive and prevent drug and substance abuse by the youth. He made the call at the foundation laying ceremony of the Drug and Substance Abuse Rehabilitation Center at the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital in Budu-Egba, Kwara State. The report.
The President of the Senate acknowledged that the country is challenged by drug and substance abuse and called for urgent steps to be taken to address the challenge.
The youth in any nation are the leaders of tomorrow, and you need to preserve, skill the youth for them to be leaders tomorrow. Today is a fact that across the country we are challenged as a people, as a nation, by substance and drug abuse. Some of them that fall victims, some of our youth, need to be rehabilitated. But I want to take the opportunity here to appeal to all of us in leadership positions at all levels of government, federal, state, and local government, to ensure that we are proactive, that we make it difficult for drugs and substances to be available for them to be abused, that we protect our youth, because by protecting them, we are protecting our tomorrow, we are protecting the development of our nation. And therefore, this particular project is one sure way of ensuring that those that are fallen victims would have a rehabilitation center to go to for rehabilitation.
The acting medical director of the hospital explains the steps to be taken to avoid drugs abuse.
The causes of mental disorders are numerous and are mainly, I can say, genetic and environmental. So genetic, if somebody has the gene or is predisposed to having a mental disorder, he has a family history of mental disorder, he has the gene within him that predisposes him, or a childhood conditions, adverse childhood conditions that can predispose to mental health disorder later in life, the person can have it. Of course, it is not everybody that is predisposed that eventually come out with mental disorders. Environmental conditions, facilitated by substance use disorders, infections, etc., can bring about a mental health condition. Of course, the etiology will now suggest how to prevent such. Proper home, proper child upbringing, and selection of who you get married to that will dilute, in order to dilute the genetic influence on the children that would eventually be born. But most importantly, reduction in adverse conditions in the environment, such as don't smoke, don't take marijuana, that's cannabis. Don't use other substances of abuse that can damage the brain and precipitate mental health condition. If there's an infection, that should be in childhood, that should be promptly treated. If there's infection later in life, that should be promptly treated. Nutrition conditions should be taken care of so that eventually one will not have mental disorders later in life.
The arts and craft industry today is one of the fastest growing in the country, as many creative artists develop their skills while expressing themselves through their beautiful works. The Nigerian youth population continues to thrive in this area by making it a source of livelihood irrespective of the harsh economic realities. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu visited Abuja Crafts Market and brings us this report.
The Creative Hub is a place where creative artists are nurtured in fine arts, wood art, sculpturing, clothing and textile, fashion items, product design, among others. While being nurtured, artists are being exposed on a national and international scale. This is evident at the Abuja Crafts Market, which houses a lot of young and innovative minds who are exploring their creativity with the goal of standing at par with their international counterparts.
I actually have these skills right from birth. I just grew up and see myself in it. I draw, I do sculpture work and other kind of things, but I basically base on painting.
I was moving back then. Then reached time of, let's say, when this insurgency started, foreigners are not coming in anymore. And most Nigerians, everybody is fighting for food now, not decoration.
These creatives, who find their source of livelihood in sales from these crafts, say they are now employers of labor but require an expansion of their businesses to enable them achieve more.
I think painting, art is a way of life, it's a way of culture. You can't remove culture from art because it's all together, and these arts have done a lot for me. It has done a lot for me. It provides food and so many things. Art can create job opportunities for so many people.
Somehow, like this thing you see now, we even make furniture works. You understand? When you enter somebody's parlor, see your work, decorate somebody's house with your work, you feel happy, feel glad. But sometimes I feel sad because most of my work are in abroad, and I'm still here.
They, however, call on the government and other relevant stakeholders to provide an enabling environment for arts and craft to fully contribute to reviving the economy, culture and tradition of the Nigerian people.
The main issue we have now is a standard gallery, studio and museum. I think that's the thing we are lacking in this country, and I believe if the government creates things like that for us, I believe we are going to go higher, and it's going to help. It creates more job opportunity because people will want to come from different countries to come and see African culture, the African art in it. So I think government should help us to create studios, galleries and museum and other things for us to work in.
Maybe government remember us, give us place, then people recognize us. You know, I believe we will reduce, like there will be light or anything, we will be paying. There will be water, we will be paying. And unemployment, we will reduce it a little bit.
Arts and crafts is a core aspect of any culture, as its mastery shows the skill and experience the craftsmen have acquired over time, and as such remain vital to the everyday life of Nigeria and Nigerians. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Federal government says it is targeting to reach Enugu on the ongoing reconstruction of the Port Harcourt to Maiduguri rail project by September 2022. The reconstruction work on the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail track has commenced from Port Harcourt. The work will span from Port Harcourt via Aba, Enugu, Makurdi, Plateau, Bauchi, Yobe and down to Maiduguri. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, said funding has challenged the work, but that negotiation for a results line for the project is almost concluded. Amechi said they now have some level of funding. On security for the contractor, the minister said he will seek additional security deployment on the sites. Recall President Muhammadu Buhari had on 9th March 2021 flagged off the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri Eastern Rail Line reconstruction project. The project, awarded to China Civil Engineering and Construction Company, is valued at about $3 billion and measures 1,443 kilometers, 1,067 millimeter narrow gauge rail line. On the foreign scene, French leader Emmanuel Macron and challenger Marine Le Pen qualified for what promises to be a very tightly fought presidential election runoff on April 24, pitting a pro-European economic liberal against the far-right nationalists. With 96% of the votes counted for Sunday first round, Macron garnered 27.41% of the votes and Le Pen 24.03%. In face of the results, other major candidates admitted defeat except for another far-right candidate, Eric Zemmour. They all urged voters to block the far-right in the second round. But after 5 years in power in which his abrasive style has upset many, Macron will have to fight hard to win back disgruntled voters. And finally, in sports, golf world #1 Scottie Scheffler cemented his place as the dominant force in the men's game by winning the Masters and clinching his first major. Scheffler won with a 1 under 7-1, missing 2 shot puts for a double bogey on 18 to finish 10 under par and claim the green jacket at Augusta. The 25-year-old American finished 3 shots clear of Northern Ireland's Rory McIlroy, who shot an extraordinary 64. Australia's Cameron Smith in the last pair with Scheffler hit a 73. This U.S. Ryder Cup star held a 3-shot overnight lead and continued his recent dominance with another commanding performance in Sunday's final round. And that's all on Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.